Last night, hundreds and thousands of people across the country stayed in a hotel room. And you may have been one of them. Now imagine that after you got settled, finished memorizing your persuasive speech, you went to sleep for the last time. Now that's what happened to Bill Moran while staying at a Holiday Inn Express in West Virginia. The Charleston Sunday Gazette, February 5th, 2012, reported that 19 guests that night suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. But the most egregious incident was Bill's death from a pool heater emitting the odorless, deadly gas. Now, even though many of these patrons' rooms were not in close proximity to the pool, the hotel's ventilation system carried deadly carbon monoxide gas into every room as the hotel guests slept. The regulations and protocols regarding carbon monoxide detection in our nation's hotels are falling short. And in turn, hundreds of people every year are succumbing to the noxious fumes of this silent killer, carbon monoxide. The Chicago Sun-Times reported on January 28, 2013, that very few states have laws that require carbon monoxide detectors in hotels, motels, large assembly halls, and multi-unit buildings that are heated by fossil fuel burning furnaces and appliances. The Center for Disease Control reported in 2012 that an average of 439 people died annually from unintentional, non-fire related carbon monoxide poisoning. Every one of us is at risk when we check into a hotel. First, let's take a look at the carbon monoxide crisis taking place in our nation's hotels. Then, review the financial burdens. And finally, we will solve this epidemic with solutions we can all take part in, starting tonight. When staying in a hotel, we lock the deadbolt and draw the blinds, but we are unaware of the hidden dangers all around us. For our own safety, we will first look at the health issues of carbon monoxide, then understand how the gas seeps into our hotel rooms, and finally, we will see how hotels are not protecting us. You see, carbon monoxide is known as the silent killer because the gas is colorless and odorless. Although carbon monoxide can lead to death, even a little exposure to the gas can have long-term health effects. A U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission document published January 15, 2013, reported that a common occurrence of carbon monoxide victims is damage to their heart muscles. Now, this creates a much higher risk for heart attacks in later years. Additionally, an article by BBC News held August 5, 2012, reported that carbon monoxide has many health issues, such as headaches, amnesia, loss of muscle and bladder control, and heart failure. Carbon monoxide's moniker of the silent killer is apt, and its inability to be detected without alarms until it's too late is precisely what makes it so dangerous. Second, the previously cited Consumer Product Safety Commission document described that placing a carbon monoxide alarm in every U.S. hotel room will cost hotels $250 million. Additionally, they also described that when you place a carbon monoxide alarm in every U.S. hotel room, there's a lack of regulation for that regulation. Now, what we can see is that placing these regulations, ultimately, there's a lack of funding and there's a lack of regulations being enforced. Third, hotels are our homes away from home. In my home, in yours, we all hopefully have carbon monoxide detectors that will alert us of increased levels of carbon monoxide. You see, we place these inexpensive alarms in our homes to protect us. But what happens on those nights that we spend in hotels? The issue at hand is hotels are full of carbon monoxide, and some hotels are not investing in equipment to properly protect their patrons. In fact, the San Mateo County Times, January 18, 2013, reported the death of Robert McNamara, who was staying in an Embassy Suites hotel on a business trip. When firefighters tested the level of carbon monoxide in McNamara's room, they found those nearly 20 times those allowed by OSHA. Upon further investigation, firefighters discovered that a malfunctioning boiler was emitting carbon monoxide directly into McNamara's room. Now, with such dire consequences and easily acquired protections available, we must ask the question why the hospitality industry continues to pull the wool over our eyes when we pull back our sheets. First, we will recognize the government's weak regulations. Then, review the financial burdens. And finally, we will recognize the public's lack of education. The The New York Times, February 5th, 2012, shockingly revealed that federal law for the past 25 years has required hotels to install smoke detectors, but not alarms for carbon monoxide. However, there are state laws, like in Washington, that require new buildings to have carbon monoxide detectors. Seattle Times, October 27th, 2012, reported that Washington law already requires carbon monoxide detectors in every new residential construction. However, many existing hotels, motels, and buildings are exempt from this mandate. Now, regulations don't just fall on the hospitality industry alone. The the National Conference of State Legislators admitted that regulations come by a state-to-state approach. Some hotels are protected, but loose regulations leave many hiding in a legal loophole. Furthermore, the USA Today, November 15th, 2012, reported that placing a carbon monoxide alarm in every U.S. hotel room will cost hotels $250 million every 5 years. Bjorn Hansen, the Dean of Hospitality and Tourism, projected hotels will spend $3.5 trillion this year alone on cosmetic renovations such as carpeting and decor. Clearly, hotels have the money, but they choose to lavish it on aesthetics instead of safety. You see, but funding doesn't just fall on the hospitality industry alone. See, even in states where there are funding and regulations, a lack of funding results in regulations being rarely enforced. You see, offices are overworked and inspectors underfunded. Now, Third, the Huffington Post, July 21st, 2010, covered the rising epidemic of bed bugs in the United States, which led to a public outcry demanding hotels protect patrons from the annoying and invasive insects. As a result, an online database called the Bed Bug Registry was established to ensure hotels were not infested with bed bugs. In comparison, the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning in our hotels has become an epidemic. You see, bed bugs are viewed as hotel negligence, and carbon monoxide is seen as an unfortunate accident, and therefore there has yet to be an outcry. And until there is, nothing will be done to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning in hotels. The health issues and failures by hotels can make it hard to sleep at night. But in order to wake up fresh in the morning, we must demand and create solutions on a governmental, hotel, and personal level. To start, our government has a responsibility to enact and fund legislation for resorts, lodges, hotels, and motels that require regulations, checkups, and building codes that will ultimately limit the amount of carbon monoxide produced and detected. Now, these regulations should emulate those found in states like Minnesota, which requires an approved and operational carbon monoxide alarm within 10 feet of every room used for sleeping. But as we all know, we can't just lay around waiting for our government to act. Businesses must take responsibility for their patrons by using updated appliances that emit less carbon monoxide, as well as replacing old appliances that put customers at risk. Now, this will cost money, but we must demand hotels put money into safety and not another nondescript piece of wall art. Additionally, the hotel industry should establish a national carbon monoxide database, similar to the Bed Bug Registry. Now, this online list will allow patrons to double check which hotels have complied with recommendations and which ones haven't. But ultimately, we must take matters into our own hands. As consumers, we must decide on which hotels we stay at based on safety. And until there is a national carbon monoxide database, there are simple and effective steps we can take. When making your next hotel reservation, inquire about the hotel's carbon monoxide detection system. In instances where this option is not available, protect yourself by carrying a portable carbon monoxide detector. You see, I purchased this unit for $40 on Amazon, and by plugging in your own personal carbon monoxide detector next to your bed, you will ensure that in case of poisoning, you will have plenty of time to move yourself, your neighbors, and your family to safety. Now, the health issues and failures by hotels, the consequences and dangers of carbon monoxide are real. The reasons behind it are tangible, but the solutions are attainable. The health issues and failures by hotels and the regulations and protocols regarding carbon monoxide detection in our nation's hotels are deficient, but the hundreds of deaths per year do not have to be in vain. Our lives depend on the industries and our ability to protect ourselves so that we can, unlike Bill Moran and Robert McNamara, wake up, check out, and move forward with our day.